Let's talk for a minute about the angels that sinned. In Jude 1, verse 6, we read, "And the angels who did not stay within their own position of authority, but left their proper dwelling, he has kept in eternal chains under gloomy darkness until the judgment of the great day." So, angels are spirit beings. We've all heard of them. The term's pretty common in English, and they're often found in Bible, angels. And Jude 1:6 showed, at least in this case, they disobeyed authority. And so from this verse alone, we can see that angels can sin, and they are reserved in chains for that great judgment day. And it's the same judgment day that you and I need to be preparing for, which is a very interesting thing. So as we read 2 Peter, Peter's trying to bring this to our attention. 2 Peter 2, verses 4, and then jumping down to verses 9 through 10. "For if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but cast them into hell and committed them to chains of gloomy darkness to be kept until the judgment." And he has a lot more logic and reasoning there. But then in verse 9, he jumps down and says, "Then the Lord knows how to rescue the godly from trials and to keep the unrighteous under punishment until the day of judgment. And especially those who indulge in the lust of defiling passion and despise authority, bold and willful, they do not tremble as they blaspheme the glorious one." So God is talking about these very angels we already read about, talking about us and saying we need to be righteous because God knows how to keep us until that same judgment day. So we have what this slide's titled Angels in Hades. So the original word for where the angels were held, that verse we started with, if you look up, it's this Tartaru or something of this nature. And this is the only place in the Bible that exact word is used in the original language. And it derives from a word that's talking about this Hades. So in Luke 16, verse 22-23, the poor man died and was carried away by angels to Abraham's side. The rich man also died, was buried, and in Hades, being in torment, he lifted up his eyes and saw Abraham afar off and Lazarus at his side. Sometimes we don't pay attention. There's a lot of details in these verses. We see this word Hades again. Now, in some versions, we're going to see that it's translated hell, and it'll fool you if you're not studying, looking at the original language or in different translations. But we see more people going to this realm of Hades. So there are other in Hades. This rich man was in Hades. And again, some translations say hell. And if you read other verses there, you'll see that a gulf separated him from Lazarus. Lazarus was in a place of comfort, Abraham's bosom, if you will, a place of comfort. You know, Jesus and the thief, this might surprise some, went to this place. As we read here, Luke 23, verses 42 and 43, Jesus said to the thief, you remember when the two thieves were kind of having a disagreement there at the very end? Jesus, the thief, says, "Remember me when you come in your kingdom." And he said to him, Jesus says to him, "Truly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." He was not talking about heaven with the Father. It was this Hades, this Abraham's bosom, this place of comfort. And we read David and even Peter kind of help us understand this. Acts 2, verses 24 through 27. God raised him up, loosing the pains of death, because it was not possible for him to be held by it. For David says concerning him, "I saw the Lord always before me, for he is at my right hand, that I may not be shaken. Therefore my heart was glad and my tongue rejoiced. My flesh also will dwell in hope, for you will not abandon my soul to Hades, or let your Holy One see corruption." Notice in that language there, not abandon my soul to Hades. That's where he was going to be, a place of comfort with the other thief, but death was not going to maintain our Savior. He would not remain in Hades. So this Hades We need to see it as opposed to Gehenna hell, the final hell. Hades is this waiting place where angels and humans and who knows, maybe other spirit beings we don't know of, are waiting the judgment day. There's also an eternal place prepared for the devil and his angels. Matthew 25:41, he will say to those on his left, "Depart from me, you cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels." And if you do some word searches and find other scriptures, you will literally find hell from an original word, Gehenna. So as we end, I want you to think about something, a savior. Did the angels that sinned have any hope? Bible doesn't tell us, but it's something to think about. Was it one and done? You sin and you're lost? But we can be thankful as humans. We have a Savior, don't we? And we can accept Christ as Savior, obtain forgiveness of the sins that we commit, like the angels who had committed sin. We can obtain forgiveness for sure and not go to Gehenna hell. We can eventually be in heaven in a mansion prepared for us by our Savior.